a little bit more information I want to give you. You guys are being a super, super group. I'm really proud of you. All I see is red, white, and blue everywhere I look, and a little bit of our colors too, and it's a nice blend. So thank you for all your patience and your courtesy. I want to tell you just a little bit about something you may have seen this morning. It was on one of the TV channels, and we did try to get the word out to the teachers if you did. But it is about the Tomb of the Unknowns. And on the 11th month, the 11th day, and the 11th hour, the President of the United States does a ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknowns where he lays a wreath there, honoring those veterans who we do not know who they are. This is also something that our Washington kids, when they go in the 8th grade, always get to see. So you go to the Tomb of the Unknowns, and I've heard you say when you come back, it's one of the most fascinating parts of your trip. So let me tell you a little bit about it. How many of you might have seen that today at 11 o'clock? It was on at 11 o'clock. Did any of you see that ceremony? Reading a little bit of it? Okay. The Tomb of the Unknowns is a monument that's dedicated to American service members who have died without their remains being identified. So in other words, we do not know who these people are. It's located in Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. In 1921, Congress approved the burial of an unidentified serviceman from World War I. 4 unknown soldiers were exhumed, which means they were dug up from 4 World War I cemeteries in France. Now you have to understand that they were killed in France because that's where we were fighting. So they were buried in France, and no one knew who they were. So we dug up 4 of our people. We knew they were ours, we just didn't know who they were. We brought them back here. A highly decorated Army sergeant chose one of the 4 by placing a spray of white roses on 4 identical caskets. This became the first unknown soldier interred at the tomb. In 1956, President Eisenhower signed a bill to select and pay tribute to the unknowns of World War II and also the Korean War. 2 unknowns from the European theater and 1 from the Pacific were placed in identical caskets again, and 1 was chosen by the U.S. Navy's only active duty Medal of Honor recipient. 4 unknowns that died in the Korean War were brought from a cemetery in the Pacific, and 1 was chosen to represent the unknowns. All of the unknown soldiers received the Medal of Honor. 3 total, each representing a different war. The Vietnam unknown was designated in 1984 to join his comrades at the tomb, but this has proven difficult because there's been improvements in DNA testing. And because of that, many of those soldiers were identified. If we had their remains, we knew who they were. They did find a serviceman who was chosen, and President Reagan presided over that ceremony. In 1994, however, a POW MIA activist determined that the remains of that unknown was actually identified. And the Department of Defense confirmed this, and that soldier was shipped home to St. Louis to be buried by his family. The slab then at the crypt was changed from Vietnam to honoring and keeping faith with America's missing servicemen. Because as you all know, a lot of our Vietnam veterans never did come home. We still have a lot of missing in action. The Tomb Guards is another story. They're soldiers of the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Regiment, or called the Old Guard, and they represent all soldiers in ceremonies throughout the nation, and they provide an escort for the President of the United States. The 3rd Infantry is the oldest active unit, created in 1794. That's a long time ago. And they're still serving in defense of the capital region in case of an emergency. Fewer than 20% of all the volunteers are accepted for training as a tomb guard, and only a fraction of those become full-fledged tomb guards. The soldier walking the mat does not wear any rank insignia, so as not to outrank the unknowns, because we don't know what rank they may have been. His duties are not purely ceremonial, but only under the rarest of circumstances will the guards speak or alter his silent, measured tour of duty. He will issue a warning to anyone who attempts to enter the restricted area around the tomb, or are disrespectful or loud. But first, he will halt and bring his rifle to port arms. They carry M14 rifles, which are unloaded and fixed with a ceremonial stock that's been made by the tomb guards. These rifles are cleaned daily and kept ready for use at all times. The meticulous routine of the guard follows when watching over the graves includes, now get this is really, think about trying to think about this when you're marching. 21 steps south, turns to face the tomb, waits 21 seconds, turns north, changes his weapon to the other shoulder to signify he's protecting the tomb, waits another 21 seconds, and then takes 21 steps to the north. And he just keeps repeating that. 21 was chosen because it symbolizes the highest military honor that can be bestowed, and that's the 21-gun salute. Has anyone ever been to a burial service that had a 21-gun salute? The first 24-hour guard was posted in 1937, and the Tomb of the Unknowns has been guarded continuously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since that time. A special Army badge is authorized to those honorably serving the guards, and since 1958, fewer than 700 people have been awarded that badge, including 3 women. This makes that badge the second rarest badge currently issued by the U.S. Army, and the only one that is more rare is the Army Astronaut Badge. Duty time when not walking is spent in the tomb guard quarters, which is below the memorial, where the guards study cemetery knowledge, clean their weapons, and help fellow guards prepare for the changing of the guard. These guards are proud to honor all American service members who are known only to God. And at the top it says, in the monument, here rests in honored glory an American soldier, known but to God, because no one else knows who they are. So that's pretty interesting. Now, you kids that are going to Washington this year, you're going to get to see that firsthand. So make sure, and those of you that are in 6th and 7th, plan to go to Washington. It's going to be well worth your time to see some of these amazing things that we have in our capital city. All right, we're ready to wind up here, and we're going to do that in a kind of upbeat way.